Hey man, say man, it's your boy Big Dreams. Welcome back to the channel. Before we carry on any further with this video, make sure y'all like, make sure y'all comment, most importantly, make sure y'all subscribe and hit that post notification bell. Set it to all. We is back with another banger video, back with another reaction video, man. And today, y'all see the screen, we are going to be reacting to Diddy's not guilty verdict can put Cassie in danger. Young Miami, Ray J and Boosie celebrate SMH. Impressive. We finna dig in here and see what's going on. I'm not gonna make the opening of this video too long. All I ask is that y'all smash that like button so this video can rank higher in the algorithm. Go crazy in the comments. Let me know what you want me to react to. And if you're watching me and you're not subscribed, man, subscribe. That's all I ask. We finna go on ahead and dig in, man. Make sure this volume all the way up.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Impressive channel. A verdict has officially been reached in this P. Diddy trial, and man, I gotta tell you, Diddy is lucky. He beat that RICO charge and those trafficking charges. He was only found guilty on 2 counts of the prostitution charges relating to Cassie and Jane Doe, which are still big charges, but they're not as severe as the RICO and the trafficking. Now, the prosecution did drop the ball on this one. I think they tried to make something stick that didn't quite stick. And one of the things they tried to make stick was the RICO charge. Now, the prosecution argued that Diddy conspired with a network of people under his company to commit kidnapping, arson, bribery, forced labor, transportation to engage in prostitution, trafficking, witness tampering, and possession with intent to distribute controlled substances. And I will say, I do feel like the prosecution did have a lot of examples to back up their claims against Diddy. I mean, for one, he did bribe the Intercontinental Hotel. He paid them off $100,000 to prevent that footage of him beating down Cassie from coming out. And as far as the arson claims are concerned, I mean, Diddy did allegedly have Kid Cudi's car blown up after he found out that Kid Cudi was messing around with Cassie. And Cassie did say in an email sent to Diddy's assistant, Capricorn Clark, that Diddy planned to hurt her and Kid Cudi, but he would leave the country when it happened. And it so happened that Kid Cudi's car blew up. I mean, if you put the 2 and 2 together, he was behind that. Also, when it came to kidnapping, Diddy's assistant, Capricorn Clark, said that he came to her apartment after finding out that Cassie was messing with Kid Cudi, and he forced her out and had a gun in his hand, so he was intimidating her, and he told her, get dressed, we're going to off Kid Cudi. And when she said she didn't want to go, he said, I don't give an F what you want. He allegedly forced her out against her will. I mean, that to me sounded like an example of kidnapping. Not to mention, when it came to the distribution of controlled substances, Diddy had a lot of illegal substances. He used these substances for his freak-offs, and they were passing these substances to some of the escorts too. So I think the prosecutors used these examples to support the RICO charge against him, but the thing is, the jury wasn't convinced that he was running a criminal enterprise. Now, Diddy was definitely...
And when you think about it, that's honestly the determining factor right there. If they can convince the jury, not that the prosecutors did not do their job, they did their best to prove what they had. You have to present what you have to the jury and make the jury believe what you're presenting. If they're not buying what you're presenting, you get a verdict like this.
Doing some crimes, but the Bad Boy Enterprise is a music and entertainment company. It's not a company funded through criminal activity. The prosecution also was carrying out these trafficking charges against Diddy. He faced 2 counts of trafficking against his ex-girlfriend Cassie and one of his other ex-girlfriends, Jane Doe, who a lot of people believe is 50 Cent's baby mama, Daphne Joy. But the prosecution argued that Diddy trafficked these women through force and threats of force and fraud and coercion. And I do think the prosecution made a good case for Cassie, even though she seemingly consented to the freak-offs. And for those who don't know, the freak-offs are when Diddy would actually pay for escorts to come in and sleep with Cassie, and he would record them. Those are what the freak-offs were. Even though Cassie seemingly consented to it to please Diddy, she didn't always want to do it. For the most part, she was drugged up during these freak-offs. Not to mention, there was a lot of control and force used in this whole situation because she was signed to Diddy. So her career and her livelihood was in his hands. She felt like she couldn't release music if she didn't do the freak offs. Also, Diddy used violence and force against her to make her do what he wanted. I mean, he beat her up multiple times. We've seen it on tape. Not to mention, he blackmailed her by threatening to release explicit tapes of her, and he even extorted her own mother. So I felt like there was a lot of coercion in that situation, but the prosecution was unable to convince the jury that Cassie was actually being trafficked, because Diddy's defense team was able to really show that these freak offs weren't considered trafficking. These were just consensual activities between adults, and they showed that Cassie did set up and plan a lot of the freak offs. Of course, under Diddy's instruction, but they painted it in a way that Cassie was the one orchestrating all of it, and in some ways that kind of made her culpable. And as far as the Jane Doe witness is concerned, I didn't feel like her testimony was really strong for the prosecution's case, because she was actually a willing participant in the freak offs because Diddy was paying her bills. So she's not seen as a trafficking victim either. The only counts that he was found guilty of was transportation to engage in prostitution, and that pertains to both Cassie and...
And see, with them trafficking charges, what she just explained with Cassie orchestrating a lot of them, even though it was Diddy's instruction, just her orchestrating and setting up a lot of them kills that trafficking charge right there, because it basically just shows that these were consensual events and Buddy's just freaked out, like overly freaked out. That's honestly what it showed. Didn't really stamp trafficking on it or anything of that nature. Don't get me wrong, it's crazy and it's horrific. It's diabolical to hear about this and details of this and things of that nature, but when you factor in that one small detail with her orchestrating some of them herself, even though it was his instruction, just her being the one that did it herself, that kind of sort of throws that out the window. And then the other lady not having a strong statement to further persuade the jury and things of that nature to support the prosecutor's case also plays a factor in those trafficking charges not sticking, bro. It's crazy when you hear the story, but when you look at it from the law point of view, they gotta go with what's right, regardless to what history Diddy got.
We know that Diddy is guilty as sin when it comes to that, because he definitely was paying for and flying out escorts to do freak offs with his girlfriends while he watched in the corner. So I definitely knew that he was going to be found guilty for those counts, and each of those prostitution charges carry a maximum of 10 years.
He ain't gonna...
But do I think he's going to spend 10 years for each of those counts?
If he got 2 counts and the max sentence is 10 years combined 20, he ain't gonna serve that much time. I feel like right now, since he's found on 2 of the more minor counts, he's got the ball in his court, of course, and I feel like he still has powerful people that he's connected to in high places that can make things happen, even with him being in a position that he's in now. There is nothing for his people to go talk to whoever, they pull strings, he walks scot-free. He still has powerful connections, and that's going to play a big factor. The judge might sit up here and still say, well, we going to have 24/7 security on him because I don't trust that he's going to leave certain people alone. I don't need him going to pay this person to do this, or you trying to get rid of this person or harm this person. That's what I feel like the judge might do if they decide to let him walk. Not saying that he's guaranteed to walk. If they decide to let him walk, I feel like they gonna keep him up under close supervision 24/7 with trained people that really know how to keep eyes on this man, especially knowing his history. That's honestly what I feel. And if he do get sentenced, if he serves some time, his time gonna be baby time. His time is gonna be very, very light. I guarantee y'all, bruh, he's not gonna serve no 10, 20 years. If that freaking RICO charge, the racketeering, if that had a stuck, oh, he would have been down to do some time for real. But he's found guilty on 2 of the minor counts, the most minor counts, bro. That's like a human being stepping on a roach right there. That's child's play. And I guarantee y'all, his team is doing everything they can to get this man to walk scot-free right now as we speak. It's crazy, I understand, but it's the circumstances of how the prosecution presented this case, man. If they had took a different angle, I feel like they could have got that more serious RICO charge to stick. But they wasn't able to make it stick. They wasn't able to convince the people who they needed to convince to decide that he is guilty on that. So that's what you add. That's what I think if you ask me. Not that they did a bad job. They just wasn't able to convince the people that they needed to convince. And that's honestly what it boils down to.
Honestly, no. I think he might get much less time than that, considering that he is a first-time offender. He has a good legal team, and they're currently trying to get him out on bond. Also, I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to get him pardoned by Donald Trump, you know?
That's another powerful connection right there. Donald.
Honestly, the prosecution...
And to be honest, that's pretty much all the freaking power you need in a higher position right there. If you locked in with the president and you know you can get in touch with the president, who's to say his team's not talking to Donald Trump right now? Who's to say his team ain't up there doing this right now as we speak? I know they is, bro. They got some tricks up their sleeve, man. I thought that they was going to hit Diddy with a whole freaking arsenal of stuff. But they couldn't get him. They couldn't get him, bro.
Case. I understood what they were trying to do, but I think the focus was more on Diddy's freaky behavior and his abuse towards women than it was on the actual charges that really mattered. I don't think they did a good enough job really convincing the jury. Also, I feel like the prosecutors didn't go as deep as they could have with this case.
Yeah, they just scratched the surface,
bro. But I realized they were really trying not to implicate other celebrities. That's what I
done said that plenty of freaking times, bro. It ain't even just celebrities, bro. They don't want to implicate people of the government who done been at them freak-offs. People who done been at them parties and they know what go down. They trying to save face of a whole lot of people. And the way to save face is to leave certain things alone. I've said that plenty of times, bro. And notice how Diddy did not get on the stand and tell on anybody when he had all this time to open up his mouth about whoever he wanted to. He didn't say nothing about nobody. He didn't say nothing about nobody. Nobody at all. And I myself believe that Diddy knows he did right by not bringing other people into it, because you have to save face to keep certain things underway and going the way it's supposed to go. When you open up certain cans of worms, you have to drag people into it that don't need to be involved in it.
Notice they were very careful.
I've said that plenty of times,
bro. They just wanted to get Diddy, but I think their efforts ended up falling a little flat. So it is what it is, but it still doesn't change the fact that Diddy is really a horrible person. I mean, he has done some monstrous things.
That's facts. Diddy did do some crazy junk, bro. Man, it did some crazy junk over the years. I don't doubt nothing that these people say. I don't doubt these civil suits or nothing like that, bro. I just feel like they didn't come at him the way that they should, bro. They focused on the abuse of women and the freak off aspect of it. Those are the only two aspects I feel like they focused on the most, and they tried to tie that RICO to that, saying that all this happened within his business, and it happened up under those two specific categories by itself. Him with the abuse on women and the freak-offs. They tried to get that to stick to that when it really wasn't that. I feel like if they had a focused on something other than the two concepts that I just called the abuse on women and the freak-offs, I feel like they had a focused on other things, they probably could have got more charges to stick. It might not have necessarily been racketeering a RICO or whatever you want to call it. It may not have necessarily been that, but it would have been something that could have put him away for a long period of time. But they scratched the surface. They didn't dig deep into it how they should. And just like she said, bro, they wasn't able to convince the jury with what they did have. They was only able to convince the jury a little bit to find him guilty on the minor charges and not the major charges.
Some people don't even care about that. They're just glad that they feel like Diddy got a victory over the feds. His family left the courtroom in all smiles. I'm sure they're very happy because, you know, Diddy is their loved one. So I don't fault them for being happy, but I was confused to see Ray J celebrating.
Diddy, you're not guilty. Diddy, Jigga, not guilty. I got all of my mommy.
But then again, I remembered what Suge Knight said. He said that Ray J allegedly was Diddy's lover.
Ray J and Puffy definitely were lovers.
Ray J.
I said Ray J and Puffy was lovers.
Really?
Yeah,
Was that well known?
of course.
Lil Boosie was
I don't
also
doubt
celebrating
Suge Knight.
Diddy's
I don't
verdict.
doubt it at all.
Man, I'm so glad Diddy free, bro. You know, the reason is because I'm tired of seeing us black moguls get took down like that, bro. Like, and I'm tired of seeing us black people go against us black moguls like that. If he was white, they would have had so many white people out there protesting for this man.
That's a lie. Nobody was protesting for Harvey Weinstein when he got locked up. I mean, come on. Truthfully, this shouldn't be about race. I mean, if somebody is committing crimes and doing
Right,
wrong
bro.
to people, they should be held accountable. One of Diddy's other girlfriends, Young Miami, also reacted to the verdict. She posted this meme of Justin Bieber doing the clock it gesture with his hands, and also it seemed like she was praying on X because she said 1111, God please, and then when the verdict came out, she put 1111 with heart emojis. So she's probably happy that Diddy is getting out so he could continue helping her career and giving her money, you know. Also, Diddy's nemesis, 50 Cent, reacted to the verdict. You know, 50 has been trolling Diddy all throughout this whole ordeal because he was mad at the fact that Diddy was sleeping with his baby mama, Daphne. But he said, Diddy beat the RICO, that boy a bad man. He like the gay John Gotti. 50
What?
just doesn't care. He really doesn't care.
Oh, man.
Cassie's lawyer also released a statement praising her courage for opening up the door for Diddy to be found guilty of the prostitution charges. But I don't know. I don't feel like this is really a satisfying victory. I think Cassie got what she wanted. She got her story out there and she got her money. But at the same time, it came with a cost. Her reputation took a hit, and maybe her husband even looked at her differently after the case. And also, her life was in danger. I think if Diddy gets out, her life could be in danger, and so could the other witnesses. Cassie's lawyer did send a letter to the judge to try to get his bond denied, so I do think she is fearful of what could happen, you know? Because you never know. You never know what Diddy could do. Now, I would think that Diddy wouldn't be dumb enough to retaliate because he's very lucky to get off the way he did. I mean, he fell to his knees in court, and I know that he couldn't even believe the verdict. So he's very, very, very lucky. But see, people like Diddy are used to getting away with things, and because they've gotten away with so much, they don't quit. So who knows, he might retaliate against Cassie and all the other people who took the stand. But anyway, tell me what you all think about this video down below. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video if you care. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
And I'm going to tell y'all, if he walked, that's honestly why I feel like the judge will probably have some people monitoring him very closely